Hey, what's going on, guys? News time. So first of all, before we get into the big news dropped from Bandai's most recent Next Phase hobby show, where they unveiled kind of the next batch of releases that are going to be coming out at the beginning of 2025. Obviously, I'm in my new studio space, so if you guys haven't seen, I did put out a sort of work in progress video on just like moving from my old space to here. I have another one of those videos coming out for you guys probably right after this, and then I'm still not entirely done, so there's still some finishing touches here to do on the new space, but it's ready enough now for me to be able to record this video and share the news, talk about some of the news with you guys here for today. So that's what we're gonna do. Before we get into that, other news is just that you guys have less than a month now, about 4 weeks probably about left for the Old to Gold contest. So for those of you guys who are working on entries for the Old to Gold contest, hope that you guys are coming to maybe the painting stages, finishing stages pretty soon, so that you can get finished up. And again, you'll have plenty of time to take some nice proper photos for your entry before the deadline of September 17th. So just a reminder about the contest there for you guys. And then one more thing before we get into the announcements for today is I just wanted to explain once again about pricing, because it does seem like this always kind of comes up when it comes to the prices that I'm going to talk about for these new releases. When I do videos like this and I give you guys the prices of Bandai's announcements, I always like to give you guys the price of what Bandai has their MSRP yen price at, just as like kind of a baseline, because that's what's the MSRP from Bandai. Other stores are going to sell it for give or take prices, so there's not really any point for me to put it in dollars for you guys, even though I know a lot of you guys are going to be shopping in the US or Philippines or wherever, and the prices is just going to change. If I just give you guys the yen price, you kind of know generally right about where it should be. Now, one important point that a lot of people get hung up on is like it'll say, you know, the MSRP is 3,000 yen, and they'll put that into a currency converter and it comes out at $21 or something like that, and then they see stores selling it for, you know, $31, and they think, what's this? How come it should be $21 and stores are selling it for $31? It's because the MSRP is for in Japan, for stores that are in Japan. For, at least I can speak for like here in the US, retailers are buying kits from Bandai US, not from Japan. So Bandai US, their prices are different from what's in Japan because they incorporate all of the logistics costs and everything into the cost of the items, and then that goes to stores here. And then it usually ends up being kind of a little bit more closer to like a 100-to-1 ratio, sort of like is, so instead of 3,000 yen to be around $30, usually ends up kind of being right around there. So anyway, don't put the yen price into a currency converter and expect that that's how much it's going to cost at retailers, because generally not. So, okay, now that that's out of the way, let's talk about the announcements. Obviously, the big announcement is that finally, at long last, we're getting another just kind of standard MG, and finally, we're getting an MG from IBO after the Barbatos came out and was a huge success years ago. We haven't got another MG out from the Iron Blooded Orphans specifically since then. And so we're getting the Vidar. I'm going to talk about that a little bit more, but I want to talk about some of the other releases that we're getting. First, we'll get back to the Vidar. We'll talk about some premium Bandai stuff and then some other model kits that were announced. But as always, guys, if you want to check out any of these new announcements, they're all up for pre-order at the moment on USA Gundam Store. You can check out those there. And there's going to be more than just what I'm talking about here in today's video as well. So you guys, I recommend you guys to go on there, check out all the new announcements from Bandai, and you might find some more stuff, especially like 30 minutes missions, option part sets, like figurized Kamen Rider kind of stuff. I'm not going to cover every single new release, but there's more stuff that you guys should check out there on the website, so check that out. As for some Gunpla stuff, we did get the announcement of the HG Zagok Seed Freedom version, so this one we were kind of expecting. It does look really cool. This one's coming out in February for 3,200 yen. It has some really cool aspects, like the damaged part for the head. You may see in some of the photos, it shows the torso of the Infinite Justice Gundam inside there. That's not included. It's just they designed this kit in a way that you can put the torso and head parts from the HG Infinite Justice Gundam into this kit to recreate scenes from the anime, but it doesn't include that, unfortunately. So that means if you do want to do that, you have to kind of cannibalize your HG Infinite Justice kit, which is unfortunate, but you can do that, and the damaged head parts for the Zagok do look pretty cool. It does have what looks to be the exact same backpack as what the Infinite Justice Gundam Type 2 had, which makes sense, obviously, but it has that backpack. It also has effect parts for the claws. They're supposed to be like a glowing hot red claws, so I'm guessing that's going to be in, it's not really too clear. Looks like it's probably going to be like a kind of metallic or like a high gloss red plastic for those claw parts probably, and they do seem to be kind of highlighting that as a special feature of the kit, so I'd imagine those are going to be probably maybe on their own runner in like a high gloss plastic or something like that. But anyway, the kit does look really cool, and for fans just of the original Zagok, at the very least, I mean, the design is going to be a little bit different, of course, but this is going to be a more highly articulated version of the Zagok from what we have like with like the standard HG-UC kit, which is old, very old at this point, and still actually holds up pretty well, I think, in my opinion. But this one's definitely going to be a much nicer articulated version of the Zagok if you just are just a fan of the Zagok. So that one looks pretty nice. And then we do also have, this is kind of for that, but not necessarily for that. You can use it for other things. We have the option parts set 15, Cavalier Ifrid, I think is the name. I'm not sure if that's exactly how to pronounce it. This one's also coming out in February as well for 2,700 yen, so almost the same price as the Zagok. It is going to be a little bit pricey as far as option parts sets go, but as you can see, there's kind of a lot there. It also comes with an Action Base 7 included. It's also coming with plastic stickers. Those are going to be like, so it has foil stickers, and it also has plastic stickers. They're like the thicker stickers that have like a thin layer of clear plastic over the top to make the stickers just look better, basically. It'll have those for all the little camera lenses and everything on there. And so you can display this on its own, or you can have this on your Zagok Seed Freedom version. You can also put this on the entry grade, and I would imagine probably the HG Ale Strike as well, the Strike Gundam. So you can use this on different kits, and there's different adapters included, and it looks pretty cool. Definitely has that very kind of retro look to it, so I think it looks quite interesting, but that'll be coming out in February as well. And then speaking of the Strike, we did get the announcement that we're getting an entry grade Strike Rouge coming out in January for 800 yen. This was previously made as, I think it was a part of one of those like Christmas like tubs that they do, or it's like a kind of cylindrical kind of container that usually comes with like a entry grade kit and then like some other snacks and stuff in there. I think they made one of these before, but now it's coming out as just a standalone kit, entry grade Strike Rouge you can get for 800 yen. Entry grade Strike, if you guys have never built it, it's definitely a really nice kit if you're a fan of the Strike Gundam. I think this is also going to include a marking sticker specifically for like the Strike Rouge's marking there on the shoulder too. So that looks pretty cool. You can of course use that with some of the different option sets that have come out for the entry grade Strike Gundam, including like the Ale backpack, and there's the Launcher Strike, the Sword Strike sets. So these are different option part sets that you can use for the entry grade Strike Gundam, and of course you can use them on the Rouge here as well. Anyway, on that note, another option part set 14 is going to be coming out, is the Gun Barrel, coming out in January as well for 1,200 yen. So basically, if you got like the Strike Rouge and the Gun Barrel, it'd be a total 2,000 yen exactly. So, you know, I expect around $20 for the pair, which is not too bad. Now, this isn't a proper HG, and it's just a sort of option parts set, so don't expect it to be anything too flashy, anything too complicated, although it does look pretty nice in terms of just like the details and parts and everything there. It would be nice if they were to make this as like a proper HG like option part set or something like that. If it was under the actual HG label, it would probably be a little bit more complex in terms of parts, you know, nothing too crazy. It's still an HG at the end of the day, but I think it would be a little bit nicer, which would have been nice. But this, of course, you can use with multiple different kits from the series. It looks like it's going to have adapter parts that you could use it on pretty much anything that has the standard kind of like 2-peg adapter system for backpack. So you'll be able to use this on lots of different kits, and I imagine we will see this in use on a lot of different kits once this release does come out in January. So a lot of cool new Seed stuff still coming out for those of you guys who are fans. All that stuff looks really nice, so I'm looking forward to that. And then we've also got the Figurized Standard Purdue 2 model kit that's coming out in February for 3,800 yen. This we saw before, so it's not exactly new, but we got some more information about it here. It comes with one printed face and then waterside decals to make 2 other option faces, so you can have kind of 3 option faces. Only one is pre-printed, unfortunately. You also have option parts for the chest, whether you want to have like the shirt collar visible, or if you just want to have like the bare chest visible, like under like her like main color of her suit. So there's a couple options there. You also have options for the helmet. You can remove the clear visor part from the helmet as well, and there's option parts for like kind of like headgear. And then she does also have a pistol for a like handheld option part. So some nice option parts included in there. I'm not super jazzed on the way that the faces look on this one. Unfortunately, that's kind of a common issue in terms of just like my preferences on these Figuarts standard kits. More often than not, the faces just don't really quite look right, and I'm a little bit disappointed with how the faces are looking for Pru 2 here, but unfortunately. I do like the character though, so I am planning on checking this one out. I'm looking forward to maybe just like swapping the face parts with like a different 30 Minutes Missions or 30 Minutes Sisters kit face option parts or something like that, or I don't know. I'll think about that, but obviously you can customize and make it, more to your liking with just a little bit of modeling skill. So that'll be out in February. And then going into March, we've got our couple of big kits. So the HD Psycho Gundam Mark II, I was actually kind of expecting that this might be coming out in December as like kind of our big kit for December, which Bandai kind of typically tends to do. But in this case, it's not going to be out until March for 10,000 yen. So around $100 for this guy. It is going to be pretty tall, 27 centimeters. So it's not going to be like perfect grade size, but 27 centimeters is definitely larger than your standard master grade. The standard MGs are going to be around 18 to 20 centimeters, so it's definitely going to be 7 centimeters taller than that. Anyway, pretty big kit, obviously, and as you can see there, compared with the HG Zeta Gundam, it is going to be quite large. It also includes parts for the damaged head, which I think is really cool. So really nice that that was included, as that could have been in like some sort of like P-Bandai set where you have like a P-Bandai set of different effect parts and also the damaged head parts. They could have very easily done that, and I wouldn't have been surprised, but fortunately we have some really nice effect parts included, including like effect stands for some of the effect parts and everything, and the parts for the damaged head. So really great that this does seem to include quite a lot in the box, which could have, like I said, been separated as a P-Bandai set. This is, of course, obviously using the arms, as we've previously seen from the HG Typhos Gundam Chimera, so that when that release came out and everybody saw on the runner label for that it was using the parts from the Psycho Gundam Mark II, that this was going to be coming out. And then we saw this teased earlier in the year with like the prototype. Now we're getting all these nice full color images for this, but it's still not coming out until March, so it's still quite a ways away. But it looks awesome, so really looking forward to that. It's of course fully transformable as well into the Mobile Fortress mode, and should be a lot of fun. Just the part separation, the color separation on that does look really, really nice. So that should be really cool. And now finally getting to the last of our new kind of standard Gunpla releases here, talking about the Master Grade Vidar, which is also coming out in March for 6,000 yen. I do have to say, when Bandai has like a big announcement like this that's so far out, I feel like it's a little bit detrimental in that by the time this comes out in March, which is, I guess it's not that far away, but it's more than 6 months away, I feel like some people are going to kind of almost forget about it by that time. Of course, if you spend any time online, you're going to see, especially once the kit comes out, people are going to be buying it, reviewing it, building it, and there's going to be, a lot of hype around it once it's released. But in the time between now and once the kit is actually going to be released, I think a shorter window is probably a little bit better, like marketing-wise. But anyway, and this was actually also not on purpose that I wore my Tekkaden shirt today. I just wore it, and then on the way to work, I realized, oh, that's kind of convenient that I'm actually wearing an IBO themed shirt to talk about the MG Vidar here today. This shirt is available on my merch store. Actually, by the way, check the video description down below. Got some cool new stuff on there as well, if you guys haven't checked that out. Anyway, the Vidar looks really cool. Honestly, not really too much that I can say about it. It looks very similar to how the Master Grade Barbatos was like a huge improvement over the full mechanics, which actually wasn't even a full mechanics at that point, just the non-grade 1/100 scale. It looks very much similar, this case, with the Vidar. So the 1/100 scale Vidar I thought was a perfectly nice kit, really nice kit. I enjoyed it quite a bit. It's probably one of my favorites of that line. And I'm really looking forward to the Vidar here. It just basically looks like a more detailed a kit that has a lot more gimmicks. Like you can actually remove the ammunition clip like from the rifle. It actually has like a sort of like cocking motion on the handguns as well. So obviously it's going to have a lot more gimmicks. It'll have the opening cockpit, and actually there's option parts for in the cockpit as well, I saw in there. So have a lot of great gimmicks, a lot of great articulation, and also the nice thing compared with like the 1/100 scale and full mechanics kits compared to like an MG, it'll be a lot more solid feeling in hand too, moving the kit around. So the Master Grade Barbatos, one of my favorite Master Grades out there. The Barbatos itself, not really one of my favorite designs, to be honest. But the Master Grade is definitely one of the best in the line, I would say. And if you've ever built it, I'm sure you would agree. But so I have very high hopes here for the Vidar as well. I was hoping for the Vidar actually among the different options of where it could have gone. I know a lot of people were hoping for like the Gushin Rebake, or maybe even the Floros or something. I don't know. Those would be cool. I was hoping for the Vidar. So I'm happy about this. Actually, if I had my way, the next master grade from IBO would have been the Grays. I would love a master grade Grays, but obviously they're going to want to reuse that frame from the Barbatos. And as you can see from some of the photos here, you can see they're definitely going to be able to use some of that frame. I would imagine probably about half of the frame is going to be reused. Half will have some new parts just to accommodate the different armor pieces and everything. But there will be some of that IBO frame reused, of course, for this. And it looks awesome. So I'm really looking forward to that. I think it's going to be really cool. And at 6,000 yen, you know, not a bad price for that either. So that'll be pretty cool. All right. Let's now talk about a couple of exclusive things that are getting released. Actually, a couple of these are not necessarily super new. So for example, here, the Gundam Base Limited HG Draken E. This is from 0080, actually, and this is coming out actually this month as a Gundam Base Limited exclusive there for 2,200 yen, which is a nice price. I would actually love to get one of these if I could. So I'm going to be on the lookout to try to get my hands on one of these at some point. It looks like a really fun model kit. Very unique, not obviously similar to your standard kind of Gunpla model kit, so that looks really cool. I'm not sure what the scale on that is, if that's more supposed to be like 120 scale or something like that maybe. I'm not sure, I didn't see that information. If you guys know, let me know in the comments. It doesn't really matter, but just kind of curious. And then also, of course, we had the Premium Bandai HG Dragon Gundam was announced. This one's coming out in January for $40. This one I'll give you the US dollar amount just because this is what it is listed at on the US P Bandai site. If you live in a different country that does offer P Bandai, it might be at a slightly different price. I don't know. And then if you're obviously living in a country that doesn't have P Bandai, the price is going to vary, you know, depending on what price you can get it at from your seller. Anyway, but $40 for an HG, that is a little bit high, a little bit more than usual. But as you can see, it does come with quite a lot, especially has like the stand and like the butterfly effect part there. It also has the effect part for the front and like kind of the circular Ouroboros almost style looking effect parts of like the dragon arms going around making a circle there. So this one actually includes quite a lot of stuff in there, and it's a completely original design. Hey, look, and for those of you guys who are going to complain about why is this a P Bandai, I'm right there with you. There's a lot of stuff that, you know, like the Jim Spartan, for example, a fantastic kit, super, super nice kit. Really wish that that would have not have been a P Bandai so that more people could experience it and enjoy that kit. But you know, it's not like a main mobile suit from like a popular series, so I understand why it's a little bit more of an obscure design. So I can understand why Bandai thought, yeah, people may not go for it if they don't know what it is, if they don't recognize it. But for like the main Gundams from G Gundam, which is you know maybe not the most popular series, but I would say I'm sure it's popular enough. And these are like the lead Gundams. It's not like they're putting out like the Nether Gundam or the Tequila Gundam or something like that, some of these more obscure ones that appeared in like one episode. But is there like some of those suits like the Rose Gundam, the Maxter, the Dragon, and then we can only assume that next year we're going to get the Bolt Gundam out as a P Bandai HG as well. Anything after that, I'm not sure if they're gonna do any more. Probably, my guess is that the Bolt Gundam will be the last one. They're probably not going to continue on to do like the Rising Gundam or like a remake of the Master Gundam or something like that. I don't think that that's going to happen. But yeah, I'm right there with you guys, scratching my head as to why these are Premium Bandai exclusives and not standard releases. You would think that being some of like the lead Gundams from a series, from like a mainline series, I guess it's not mainline considering it's alternate universe, but you guys get what I mean, like a big full like 50 episode series, right? I think, isn't it? You would think that this would be popular enough to release as a standard release. But it looks awesome, so I'm looking forward to checking it out anyway. And then we also had the announcement of the Premium Bandai Full Mechanics Boost Raider, which also looks pretty cool. So the Raider Gundam is one that I will continue to only say good things about, because if you guys have not built the Full Mechanics Raider Gundam, I cannot recommend it enough. It's pretty much a master grade. If you guys are just wanting more master grades to build, it's about as close as you could be to a master grade without being an officially titled master grade. So it's really, really good. Check it out. But the Boost Raider features some new parts for the back. It's a bunch of new parts for like the backpack, the head. It has the cannon parts from the Calamity, the Full Mechanics Calamity. So there's some parts from that kit in there as well. And there's a bunch of new stuff. That one looks really cool. That's going to be out in February for $69 here in the US. Very nice price, I will say. As much as I love the Raider, I'm not super sold on this design, so I'm not sure if I'm going to pick one up yet or not. But I gotta say, it does look pretty cool. And yeah, if you've not built the Raider, definitely check it out. If you like this design more, check this one out, I would say. So anyway, That's it for the exclusive stuff I wanted to talk about. Then just wanted to kind of like very briefly kind of hit on like a few of the other main releases that Bandai has coming out. They announced. And again, I would just recommend you guys to check out the link in the video description to USA Gundam Store if you guys want to check out some more info and more releases other than just the ones I'm going to mention here. So a few things that I saw, there was quite a bit of hype around the 30 minutes preference Bocchi the Rock release. So I guess there's going to be a series of releases as like a tie-in to the Bocchi the Rock anime series. It's a series that I only know by name. I've never seen it. I don't know anything about it. But I know that there's quite a few fans out there. And so I really, this is of Hitori Goto is the character, and this one's going to be coming out in March, the first one. And then I guess there's probably going to be 2 or 3 more after that. I don't know why it's 30 minutes preference. I feel like that was a mistranslation, and what they meant to go for was 30 minutes performance. I feel like would have been the right name for like a rock music themed anime. 30 minutes performance seems more right. 30 minutes preference, I don't understand that, but if you guys think you have an explanation, let me know in the comments. But anyway, so that one comes with the guitar and like the pedals and everything, so it looks pretty cool if you're into like anime music rock themed anime. If you're into Bocchi the Rock, you'll enjoy that. We also have the 30 minutes missions, full armor Alto, which looks pretty cool. So it's the Alto going back to like the first kit out in the 30 minutes missions line, but now with like some added armor for the full armor version, which I think looks pretty cool. And then as I mentioned it earlier, there's a bunch more 30 minutes missions stuff, especially like 30 minutes missions vehicle sets. There was a couple of those that got announced, so check out the other 30 minutes missions announcements there on the website. In the 30 minutes sisters, again, there was some like new hair parts, new face parts, new body option parts that were announced, but we did also get the announcement of the 30 minutes sisters Saurei, which is going to be a new character here. Has a kind of like a samurai, sort of like fantastical samurai armor kind of theme to it, and then has like these like blue kind of flame parts on like her feet, and then also on the sword, which is pretty cool. So this one has a pretty interesting look to it. In the 30 minutes fantasy line, too, we also had some new ones that got announced. A new version of the Libel Priest. It looks, once again, both kind of like a light and dark version of that, and also the Archer, so kind of new like 30 minutes fantasy classes. So it seems kind of what they're going for. So the Priest, the Archer class, and then we did also, once again, get some option parts and a few other things also announced in that line as well. So check out all that. As far as the 30 minutes missions Armored Core series goes, we got some new weapon sets announced, 2 new weapon sets announced for that series, and those will be coming out at the beginning of next year as well. And then we also got a tease for the next HD Super Robot Wars release, which is going to be the Vice Ritter. I'm sure I'm mispronouncing that, but you bear with me. So we just got a couple of tease images of that, but I will show you guys also a photo of the Chogokin figure, just so if you're like me and if you're not really that familiar with Super Robot Wars, you don't know what it actually looks like. You can see from the Chogokin figure kind of at least what the colors and everything is going to look like. You can see from the teaser images a little bit more kind of how the proportions are going to look. But if you were curious about the color scheme, that's how that's going to look. That's going to be out in March as well. In the Macross HG line, we're getting the Sturmvogel 2. Both the Maximilian and also the Emilia Farina Genius versions is going to be sold separately, so it's not like a 2-pack, but there's 2 different versions of this kit that you can get, and obviously the one's in the red, one's in blue. That's going to be out in January. Those are going to be for 4,300 yen each. And then there is also, once again, kind of like how Bandai's done with the previous releases as well, there'll be a decal set available that you can get for those kits as well. Again, sold separately. In the world of Pokemon Plamo, we are getting 2 Pokemon Plamo kits here of Meowscarada and also Ceruledge. So if you guys are fans of the Pokemon plastic model kits, there's a couple of new ones coming out there. Also Pokepla Quick line, we're getting Psyduck finally. I'm kind of surprised that we haven't got Psyduck yet to this point, that it took, I don't know how many releases. There are probably now around 30 releases, I feel like, in this line already, and finally getting to Psyduck. But yeah, Psyduck's going to be finally joining the Pokepla Quick lineup. And then also just want to mention this one last thing here, the Planosaurus Therizinosaurus is also kind of new. I guess it's a quite obscure dinosaur, but in like recent years, it's gotten quite a lot of popularity, especially because it was featured in the latest Jurassic Park movie, which was god-awful. But yeah, Therizinosaurus kind of out of nowhere suddenly being quite popular, and so we're getting a model kit of that here as well in the Planosaurus line, so you guys can check that out. But like I said, there was a lot more stuff that was announced. You can check that out. That's kind of, I mainly wanted to focus on all the Gunpla stuff. I wanted to briefly mention a few of the other things as well. You guys can check those out on the USA Gundam Store website or on Bandai Hobby's website. Of course, there's all the information. But yeah, just last couple of things too. Like I said, I recommend you guys to check out my merch store. The link is in the video description down below. Leave a comment. Let me know what you guys think about some of these new releases. Are you hyped or not so hyped? I mean, let me know in the comment section. Leave a like on the video. Make sure that you're subscribed. Really appreciate all your guys' support. Thank you so much. One last thing I do want to mention too, which I thought was kind of funny. I'll just kind of add this in at the end. As soon as the announcements were dropping last night for these kits, it was kind of funny. I noticed immediately right away one thing that a lot of people were saying was that, oh, I really hope that Bandai makes MG, Kimaris next, and I really hope that Bandai makes MG Gushon Remake next, and all this. Like, as soon as the release came out, people are just immediately wishing for something else more. It's like, a lot of people for a long time, and understandably so, have been lamenting the fact that we haven't really gotten a whole lot of just standard release master grades out lately. We've had like Master Grade Verka, we had MGEX, MGSD, stuff like this. But yeah, lately, for the past couple of years, it's been very, very dry in terms of just like standard release, just regular master grades. And so I understand people's frustration there. And so Bandai finally announces one, and then immediately people just start wishing for something else more. It's like, I would encourage you guys to, focus on this awesome new kit that we're getting, and awesome new kits, aside from just the master grade. But if you've really been wanting a master grade, we're getting a master grade. So enjoy it, look forward to it, keep that hype alive for a little bit longer than 5 seconds for this particular release, and then yeah, hopefully we will get some more MG IBO kits in the future. I would imagine we will at some point, but at least for the time being, Vidar is coming out. I'm happy about it. You should be too. And that's it for today's video, guys. Thank you so much. See you next time.